and decide that having thrown you out, actually they want to trust you again, is if they can see that you are advocating proper solutions and not always the easy solutions. So I think it's very important as we embark on this new chapter that we don't always jump on the easiest bandwagons, because the electorate are watching carefully. So I think on all these issues, if there's a principal case to make that the changes Labour are making are going to damage employment, mean fewer jobs, mean unemployment goes up, then of course we should make that case. But what we need to remember more than anything else, I think that sadly every Labour government in history has left with unemployment higher than when they arrived in. I think if they do what Angela Rayner wants, that will happen to this government. We need to be a party that has the solution to these problems and does so in a credible way.
Let me ask you a couple of questions that relate to your, to your success as a candidate at the election, but also to the party's broader lack of success in the general election. First of all, your own. You held off the Liberal Democrats, and now there's this debate in the party. Does the party need to face towards the Liberal Democrats and get votes back from the Liberal Democrats that it lost, or does it need to fight reform? Some people say, obviously, we need to do both. Mathematically, you can see that that's the case, but it's very difficult to do that. So what does it do in this dilemma?
Well, I think first thing to say is that a number of the people who were part of my campaign in Godalming and Ash are in the audience. And can I just take the liberty of asking everyone to give them a big round of applause, because they did an amazing job. I think the answer to that question, without sounding too much like Boris and having your cake and eating it, is that we need votes from all those groups. We need reform votes, we need Liberal Democrat votes, we need the votes of people who stayed at home, and the trap to fall into, and it is a trap, is to think that as people get fed up with the Labour government, and judging by the last 12 weeks, that's starting to happen far more quickly than people were expecting. But as they get fed up, to assume that they will automatically come back to us. I mean, we were trounced at the election. We got ourselves into a position where, and this is a very uncomfortable thing for Conservatives, but we got ourselves into a position when people looked at the problems the country faced and the problems in the NHS and the cost of living crisis and all these things, challenges with immigration, and they began to think that we were part of the problem, not part of the solution. That is very uncomfortable. Now, I know, and you know, everyone in this hall knows, that we faced the most enormous global challenges over the last 14 years. We took the tough and difficult decisions to get the country back on track. But it doesn't work just to tell that to the electorate. We tried that at the election. We now have to earn their trust and show that we have listened. And if we win that big argument, the argument that we are actually prepared to take the difficult decisions that will secure the extraordinary future of this country, that it's our potential to do so, then we will start to get voters back from left, right and centre. If we follow a narrow political strategy of saying we're just going to go for this group of voters on this issue and that group of voters on that issue, people will think we're thinking about ourselves, not about the country. So that's why I think I am actually very encouraged when I listen to what our 4 outstanding leadership candidates are saying. They are thinking about those big issues. They are getting into the mindset that we had in 2005 when I was first elected. How do we win this argument so that we can get back into office in 1 term and not 2 or 3 as happened before?
And just last thing, Theresa May argued this week in my paper in the Times that elections are won in the centre. There are some people who say, look, that is an old analysis. We're in a different world now after Brexit. Do you still think she's right?
She is absolutely right that we will not win the next election if we say all we want is this group of voters on this part of the spectrum, and that will get us, over 40% in the polls. You need to win a broader argument with the country. And this is what I would say, and maybe it's a slightly different way to the way that Theresa put it, but I think it's probably arguing the same thing. What is the biggest challenge we face as a party? Our biggest strategic challenge is the fact that the average age above which you are more likely to vote Conservative than Labour is now over 60. If we are the party of aspiration, we have to have a message for 30-somethings, 40-somethings starting out on their life who are prepared to work hard, who are Conservatives to their fingertips in their values, in the way they lead their lives, in their belief in all the things that all of us believe in. We have to have a message that appeals to them. So I would say, as we rebuild our trust with the British people, a litmus test of whether we are on track is whether we are starting to do things that rebuild confidence, trust and excitement amongst those generations, because they're not just the future of the country, they're the future of our party as well.
Jeremy Hunt, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
For our first member debate on immigration and border security, please welcome Julian Ellicott and Paul Hogan.